Experience of buying or selling a home is going to be different than transactions in the past. A recent National Association of Realtors class action settlement agreement has laid out new rules that will now bring the buyer and seller into negotiations over commissions on the sale of a house, negotiating who pays commission and how much is paid.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Angelica Bonilla here with Excellence Real Estate here in the HD and the Bonilla Group. So today I wanted to cover our buyers' commissions not to be paid by the seller anymore. I wanted to go into the new NAR settlement, the changes of what's happening in the real estate market, because a lot of people are thinking that there's no more commission being paid to a buyer's agent. There's a lot of confusion going on, okay, and that's why I wanted to kind of do this reaction video with you and kind of explain to you what the new changes are that are occurring and happening, so that you can get a better understanding of where things are going and how things are changing in today's real estate market. Okay, so now going forward, things are changing for buyer's agent compensation, because that's what they're calling it now, not a commission any longer, and also for buyer's agents. Now I wanted to do this quick reaction video with you so we can kind of see and break down what are the changes and what is changing in the real estate market. All right guys, so let's react to the video and let's see it together, and then I'm going to go ahead and break it down to you a little more so you can get a better understanding of what's happening in the real estate market and with the NAR settlement. Because I've got an interesting call from one of my home sellers here in the area with a concern saying that it's illegal to pay a buyer's commission now. Everything's negotiable, okay? You could decide not to, or you could decide to pay a commission when the offer comes in, okay? Let's take a look at the video and let's get a reaction together. And I actually want you to leave your comments down below. What do you guys think about these new changes? Because there is a lot of changes. And we'll go ahead and discuss it after the video. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's take a look at the video right now.
Yeah, this is a landmark antitrust settlement in the housing market that'll fundamentally change the way real estate agents are compensated when you buy or sell your home. The National Association of Realtors agreed to take offers of broker compensation off the MLS, which is their listing database. In addition, buyers will have to sign agreements of compensation with their agents. In the past,
So they agreed to remove the area where it states how much the seller is willing to pay as a compensation or a commission for the buyer's agent. Okay, now let's keep
buyer
going.
And seller agent commissions were usually paid by the seller. Now, to help us better understand all of this, we're joined by the CEO.
Okay, so a lot of things have changed. Okay, it's still negotiable. It's still up to the home seller to see if he does want to give buyers compensation or if they don't. Okay, and there's a lot of changes happening in the buyer side as well. Okay, with now, if you're a buyer, we would have to get a buyer's agreement before we go out and show you houses, because before you used to call an agent and it's like, yeah, we can go ahead and show you some houses, see if you can work together. Okay, see if you guys can build that relationship, and then see if you're going to use us to write your offers and all of that. But now moving forward, before we show you properties, we need to get a buyer's agreement or buyer's compensation signed with the buyer, and we need to discuss the commission that's going to be expected and also how we're going to get paid. Okay, the buyer's agent, it's either you're going to negotiate it with the seller when you write your offer, and how much is the buyer going to have to pay their buyer's agent. Okay, there's a lot of confusion going on. Okay, I know there's a lot of new changes because I'm getting the phone call still right now with buyers wanting to go see property, but they're already working with an agent, or they already signed a buyer's compensation with another agent, but they want you to go show them houses. But then when you ask them, do you have a buyer's compensation? And you tell them, call your agent, make sure you don't have one. And they do, but that agent doesn't live in the area that they want to move into. And now we're having to answer a lot of questions. Of course, we're going to answer all your questions. When you call us, we try to answer all your questions and give you all the information that you need. Okay, so none of that's going to change. We're still doing that here, okay, with the Bonilla Group. So that's why I wanted to do this reaction video with you guys, so we can kind of go down and talk about all the new changes that are happening and things that we need to put in place before we start seeing houses, okay? So let's continue with the video.
CEO of EXP, one of the largest real estate brokerages in the nation, Leo Pareja. Thanks so much for joining us. I know you just took the reins of the company last spring, so you're right in the fire, but let's get right to it. For the consumer, is this going to lower commissions overall, make them more negotiable, or just split up who pays them?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think what consumers need to focus on, it'll really change the process. So the 23 years I've been a licensed broker, the buy side was somewhat informal in the sense you met somebody in an open house, you had chemistry, they helped you buy the house. Now there's got to be an agreement signed and executed.
So you see how he's saying? Now, before it used to be simple. You met somebody at an open house, you would go show them houses. That was it, right? You see if you wanted to work together. They could decide to go with a different agent or not. Or now things have changed. Now we have to get that buyer's agreement signed before we start seeing any houses or start showing any real estate to any new buyers, okay?
Prior to touring homes. And so there is going to be a departure from the way things were done. And I'm calling it the messy middle because it's going to be both for consumers as well as agents, getting used to the new process. So we've already had anecdotal stories where a consumer calls an agent, the agent presents the contract, and they call a parent or a friend or someone who's bought a home before and says that's not how it goes. So I'm asking everyone to have quite a bit of grace as we maneuver these new rules. And sellers need to be aware that now when they list a home with an agent, they will have the option to still offer a buyer a compensation fee like they did in the past.
So there you go, guys. So you still have an option as a home seller to offer a buyer's agent compensation, okay? So it was the same like in the past, but now you have an option either to offer that compensation, or you have an option not to offer that compensation.
Off the MLS, or they can simply say, put it in the contract and it can become negotiable. So there's going to be an adjustment period. But as you said, Diana, it's a lot of who's going to pay whom is negotiable on every transaction.
And there's been confusion, I know, as you talked about. I talked to a lot of real estate agents, in fact, some today, who say that things don't look like they're shaping up the way they should on the MLS right now. But for them, there's this concern that if someone's paying a buyer agent, not paying a buyer agent, and the buyer agents can't get compensation, that this will cause a lot of agents to leave the business. Do you see that?
I don't see that. So one thing to unpack there is this rule was the result of a legal settlement. That doesn't change an iota of what the value of an agent brings to the table. The average buyer agent in America takes about 100 hours representing a party, and that is not going to change. The listing side is still.
I totally agree. Our work doesn't stop, okay? We're still going to figure out how we're going to get paid, how we're going to negotiate it, okay? How we're going to write the offer before we send it out to a listing agent. Okay, because we're not going to be asking how much is a seller willing to pay as a commission. No, now we're going to negotiate our commission into the contract. They can come back, and it's all a negotiation back and forth with the seller and with the buyer until you meet and you guys decide that, yeah, this is what's going to happen. All parties are happy with that negotiation. And then you can go ahead, open escrow, and move forward with your home purchase, okay? So there's just going to be, it's a little bit of changes, which I know right now everybody feels that, oh, this is not going to happen. Who's not going to pay The seller's not going to pay, the buyer's agent's not going to pay. I mean, if you are going to need a real estate agent, you're going to have to pay for your services that they are providing you. Okay. So there's a lot of confusion, but I hope that this video is breaking it down a little more. Let's keep watching.
Still as intense for the consumers, both the agents in consummating the transaction. So I think there's going to be a lot more conversations about compensation. We're all for transparency. So the more transparency that could be a part of the transaction, the better. But the amount of effort and representation won't change. I'm mostly telling agents to think about the buyers like the sellers. You will now need to do a presentation. There will be a competitive market. You could see a flurry of new business.
That is true. Now we actually have to show our value as buyer's agent, because before just meet somebody, it's like, oh yeah, I can help you buy a home or do this or do that. Now you actually have to show your value. What are you going to be giving to your client and the value you're going to be giving to your client? Okay, do you have any videos that go out? How do you help them? Do you help them find the home inspectors, anything that your client's going to need? Okay, that's the value that we give as your realtors. Okay, so I know that you can see with all of our videos the value that we provide to all of our clients. Okay, we try to give the most value with all of our transactions, because every deal is different, or I don't want to call it a deal. Every home purchase, every home sell is different. I keep telling you that they're not all the same. You're going to have different things that happen for every transaction. Some transactions can be easy and some transaction can be really hard. And it's mostly because you can't get the buyer and the seller to agree on some of the items. Okay, but that's where it shows what kind of agent you are, if you can get both sides to the closing table. Okay, so let's continue watching. I hope you're enjoying this video, okay, of me doing a reaction to this. Okay, instead of me trying to just sit here and trying to tell you what the changes are, I hope that you're getting a better understanding through the reaction video. Okay, now go ahead, leave me a comment down below. What do you think of these changes? Do you agree with the changes, or do you feel that it's better for the seller and the buyer? That way you both know exactly what you're getting into. Seller knows exactly what they're going to buy or pay, and the consumer knows exactly what they're going to get as well. Let's continue with the video.
To start up, as we've seen on the listing side for decades, where there are companies that do it for a flat fee, there are companies that do it for a menu of services, and there are full service companies that do it for a percentage. I fully expect to see folks do that on the buy side as well. But the fact that buying a home is the single largest investment the average American family makes. It's done probably an average of 3 times, and it's highly complex with a lot of friction. And on the seller side, where sellers have had the optionality to go for sale by owner or use different business models, consumers choose at very high rates, 80 to 90% of the
a lot of home sellers, they try the for sale by owner, and then sometimes they list back with an agent because it's a lot of work. Okay, there's a lot of work that goes into selling a property. Okay, answering all the calls, making sure you have the right offer, making sure the buyer is qualified, okay, and do have the funds to close the deal. Okay, not only that, doing all the other legwork that's involved for the 90 or 180 days. Okay, so I'm telling you, a lot of work goes into selling a property, especially right now. If your property is not priced correctly, you're not seeing offers right away. The properties are selling, they're sitting longer on the market than before. You're not getting those multiple offers. And so we're seeing a lot of changes in the market right now. Okay, so let's continue watching the video.
time, professional representation, and I don't think that's going to change because we have a rule set.
And there's been this claim that it could actually lower home prices. That is because if the seller doesn't have to pay the buyer agent commission, and say on a $500,000 house they would have been paying $30,000 in commission, now they're only paying $15,000, that they might take that $15,000 off the sale price of the house, as in lower home prices. Do you think that's going to happen?
I think that's categorically false. I think the value of a home is dictated by the supply of properties, the demand from buyers, and the
No seller's going to leave money on the table. Okay, if you're selling your home, you're not going to, if you don't want to pay a buyer's commission or, closing costs or any of those items, why would you want to leave if you know you could sell your home for more money? Are you really going to be doing that? Okay. I mean, that's why I wanted to show you guys this video and kind of react to this video, because it's so important. All of the key factors that they're talking about in this video, because yeah, who's going to want to leave money on the table? No home seller is going to want to do that.
the affordability index. As we saw interest rates retreat by about 1%, that'll bring some reprieve to buyers on the sidelines. But really, we have a fundamental lack of inventory in this country that comes from the financial crisis, where we didn't build enough homes for the financial household formation we've experienced. And sellers were always trying to execute the highest net to them in the shortest amount of time possible. And the buyers are always trying to get the best deal possible for the home that fits their family needs.
All right, guys. So that was the video that I wanted to show you about the new NAR settlement and things that are changing and how we're going to be having to move forward, okay, with a buyer's compensation or a seller paying a buyer's compensation. Now it's optional, of course. So, and the commission is negotiable. Okay, it depends on your service that you're going to want the agent to provide. I'm pretty sure that's the compensation or the commission that they're going to want to negotiate. Okay, so what do you guys think? Again, leave me a comment down below. Don't forget, guys, to subscribe to my channel. Okay, subscribe. I see a lot of people are out there. You don't hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to like my video. Okay, I'm gonna bring you more videos on topics like this, things that are happening in the real estate market today. I'm gonna be doing a video on the interest rates, and if you think that the lower interest rates that are happening are gonna make homes more affordable, let's talk about that. Okay, that's a new one. Okay, so there's a lot of things that are changing in the real estate market, and that's why I wanted to do this quick reaction video with you so we can discuss what's changing, what's happening, what's new in real estate, okay, and how buyers' compensations are going to get paid moving forward. They're going to be negotiable, just like they always have. Okay, I hope that you've enjoyed this quick video, NAR settlement and the new buyers' compensation agreements, and what the changes that are happening in real estate. Like always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Angelica Bonilla here with Excellence Real Estate here in the HD and the Bonilla Group. Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
That will be apparent when visiting an open house. Buyers will be asked to sign forms, and if they don't have an agent representing them, they might not be able to get additional information about a property without an agent. Buyers will have to negotiate how much they are willing to pay the agent representing them. But sellers could incentivize a sale by offering to pay all or a portion of the buyer's agent's commission.
It's the biggest decision of your life, and it's probably going to be intimidating regardless of these changes. But the fact that there's going to be so much more information available, hopefully that'll take care of some of the anxiety people might be having about real estate transactions.